Okay, so this is a short video to show you how it is that you can use Google Classroom for clubs. So, Google Classroom can be used for clubs quite nicely. You can have students, you can invite students like you would for a normal classroom. And I'm not clicking on the students tab just because I don't want to show you all the names and then have to blur them out, which takes some time. But what I think are a couple of good practices for this is that you should actually make the executive officers teachers in the club. That way they can post things like when the next meeting is. They could post forums about what should happen at future meetings. They could post announcements like, I remember to wear your shirt on the day. Um, I've also had students post the pay to participate website, and there are a lot of other things that can be used for posting. And just like you do for your classroom, you can show them the code, or you can actually invite them by putting their name in. I find it really useful. So, I'll show you some of the announcements that we've had in here. This one is announcing a meeting. This one announces also a meeting here as well. This one was after the club fair. And what's nice about this is that students can post all kinds of things. I mean, one of the things that I did for my club is that I created an executive board member version um, of this, and I kind of found that extremely useful for students because then I was able to talk to them about things that only dealt with executive board members, and then I also had one that was for the actual members of the club. Um, So it's a really useful tool. If you already know how to use Classroom and the students are already on Classroom, it makes some sense for you to also use Classroom for clubs. Um, the other thing that you might consider when you use Classrooms is that actually, more than you consider, I think you really should do this, is make the activities coordinator, Lauren Morris, the another teacher on the account. And the reason for that is that it makes it possible for this person to be able to monitor all the things that are going on, and get some information that way. And also, if at some future date we decide that it makes sense for her to post something maybe about adopt a family, or putting other issues that we have not really imagined yet that they want to put out to all students, maybe even reminding them about, I think there's some meetings that they have with the student council, and that involves executive members. So it might be a way to get that information out to clubs. It might also be a place where they can themselves can put the pay to participate process or anything else that we can't think of at this time. It might be a good tool for the activities coordinator just to see what's going on and also have the ability to post. So you would use Club in the same way. I don't know that you necessarily would have them do assignments, but maybe there's a use case that I have not thought of at this point. I could see mostly that you are making announcements through this. You could also, post a form about, like I said earlier, a survey of some kind. That might be a good use of using it for a club. There was one time that I had a club meeting, and the officers wanted to share a PowerPoint, and I had them share the PowerPoint there. It could be a place that when you work with students, like in a meeting or something, and you want to have pictures of all the things that happen, so you could have the historian posting pictures of things that happened during the club, as long as it's follows the acceptable use policy. In some ways, this is sort of like a private network. It only involves a limited number of students. And I can't think of anything else off the top of my head, but I sort of think that this is the way to go in some ways. Maybe even easier to get everyone on the same page than Remind 101 if you were using that for clubs. This also could work because students can also get the app for their phones and get notifications about meetings. So I hope that helps. I really strongly think that it's a good idea to use this as a tool.